Today I'll be reviewing the new S15 Joy-Cons from EasySMX. These are very futuristic and sharp looking, and you can see that my studio light is reflecting off the switch screen, but also the Joy-Cons themselves. Everything is like glass. It's a very nice design, and with my lights turned down, like come on, these look really cool. But it's also very customizable. You can see that there's 4 macro buttons back here and turbo. I'll show you how to set up everything and how to customize these later. But first, let's start with my thoughts on the hardware. Let's talk about the buttons first because there's some intricacies with these that make these a little different than other Joy-Cons I've reviewed. You can see that this D-pad has like a glossy casing over it, and it's also up pretty high. And that's very important to keep in mind because I'm not even clicking anything and it has a bit of sway when you're moving your thumb around. You can see that I haven't clicked any buttons yet, but there's a lot of movement here. It does have mechanical switches, so it's very clicky and responsive, but just keep in mind it's not solid in place, so when you're clicking this, your thumb's going to be moving around all over the place. But yeah, the buttons all have mechanical switches that are rated to over 5 million presses, so they're going to be very responsive and have like that mouse click feel. I'm enjoying this futuristic design with the buttons. I don't really have much to say about these besides the fact that they're on mechanical switches. You do have the Nintendo Switch buttons that you'd expect, but there's a turbo button here, and this button also allows you to set up all your settings with this controller, which I will show you later. The bumper buttons and the triggers are the same. They're like mouse clicks. And the triggers have this nice curved design which hugs your finger really nicely. The back of the controller is not reflective. It has normal plastic with a really nice texture on the sides. And it keeps that futuristic looking design. Because the front's so reflective, if you have any grease on your fingers, you'll have fingerprints all over it. The 2 macro buttons at the back have different engravings on them, but they're basically just 2 extra buttons that you can set up to do different things, which I'll show you later. If I'm holding this controller in a relaxed position, my fingers pretty much rest right on those buttons. You can see that my fingers don't rest right on the back here perfectly, but they do line up really well, and they are comfortable to hold. And here's your release button for the rail system, and there's this plastic stand at the back, which I'll talk about shortly. They both have a USB-C charging port on the bottom, but you can charge these both at the same time if they're attached to your Switch. If you charge these using the cable, you'll notice that these lights will blink. When it's fully charged, these will stay solid. It just comes with 1 charging cable, so I'd just rather charge these on my Switch anyway. It has Hall effect joysticks, so you don't have to worry about stick drift, and there's metal rings in here so that your experience is very smooth when you're moving it around. It has a concave design, and instead of having a solid metal ring, there's like notches, which is a bit of a unique design, and it still does help you move your joystick around easier. There is no texture on the side here, it's just smooth rubber. They do feel nice. The stick is a little bit tall, so I do notice that if I want to press this button up here, I have to like reach my thumb over that stick. This button almost would have been better if it was located here so you could reach it easier instead of trying to like reach over the stick. Now if you're a fan of tall sticks, there's another cool feature with these. You can just rip these right off, and they include a couple of taller sticks in the box, and you can just push these right on, and then you have a way taller stick to work with. Here's a visual difference of the joysticks. Basically the thickness of the white rubber on the top of the stick is how much taller it is. They also have NFC support for your amiibos and 6-axis gyro. They do rumble. It's not HD rumble, but you can customize the intensity. So let's talk about these stands at the back because these are kind of a different design that I haven't seen yet. All they do is basically allow you to lay these down flat. So if you compare that to the MobilePad M6 HDs, for example, when you lay these down, they sit on like an angle. So basically what that translates to is if you're connected to the Switch, you can just lay it down perfectly flat and level. But if I connect the MobilePads and lay this down, it doesn't sit flat. It kind of angles back like that. So anyway, take that knowledge and do what you will with it. You can connect these to the Switch with Bluetooth, but I'm going to put these on the Switch and then I'll show you how to customize everything. So to customize everything, there's a turbo button on the right side and the left side because this side will control everything you set up here, and then this side will control everything you set up here. There's basically 2 turbo settings. There's manual and automatic. So if you have manual set up, if you hold on a button, you can make Mario do something like over and over and over. But with the automatic setting, if you just tap the button, Mario will do the thing over and over and over, but you don't have to touch anything. You can just leave it. You can also adjust the speed of the turbo so you can control how rapid that is. Let's use Mario's jump as an example. So if I hold jump, he'll just jump really high once and that's it. But if I set up a turbo and I hold that button down, you can see that it's going very rapidly. If I want to change the speed of that, I can just hold the turbo button and click the stick. It'll basically change the speed that the turbo works. So if I hold down the turbo button and click the stick again, you can see that Mario's speed of jumping is different. To give you a visual on how the speed's working internally, it's basically just either doing something like this or it's doing this, which is very quick. So if I hold this down and click the stick again and hold on the button, you can see that it's sped up again. Now let's set up an automatic function so I don't have to hold the button down. If I just hit the turbo button and hit jump a second time, now Mario just won't stop. That'll go on forever. And if you want to cancel turbo altogether, just hold turbo and press the jump button a third time and then it's gone. It works just like normal again. On the left side, it's the same thing. So let's set up one of these macro buttons back here. I'll just use this one. So if I don't want to use this button to make Mario jump, if I'd rather use a button at the back, all you have to do is hold the turbo button and then hold the button at the back and the controller will vibrate and then you're ready to set something up. So I'll just set it up as jump and then I'll click this back button to confirm that's what I want it to do. And the controller will vibrate twice to let you know that you did it correctly. But basically now when I hit that back button, I can make Mario jump instead of using this one. You can also set up a button sequence. So say if I wanted Mario to jump and shoot a fireball, I can set that up for the back as well. So let me just use this button as an example. If I hold the turbo button and then hold this button at the back, the controller will vibrate and then I'm ready to set something up. So I'll just say jump fireball and then hit that one. Again, it'll vibrate twice to let you know that you set it up correctly, but if I just tap that back button, Mario will jump and shoot a fireball for my macro sequence. If you want to clear a macro button, all you have to do is hold down the turbo button and then hold that button down for a few seconds, and when it vibrates, it'll clear it out. So now when I hit that back button, Mario won't jump anymore. You can change the vibration level or turn it off. So if I hold this turbo button, if I go up, I could increase the intensity of the vibration. So there's low, medium, and high. And if I want to turn it off, I can hold down this button and then down on the stick a few times, and now it's off. If you move this stick back and forth when you hold this down, you can adjust the brightness of these lights. So I'll just hold this down and move this to the left and then to the right, and you can see there's a difference in brightness here. There's more lighting modes as well. So if you hold down this turbo button and press this plus sign up here, now it's got like a different animation, and if you press it again, there's like this fade color mode, so it'll go through a bunch of different colors and fade in and out. If I press it again, you can just change it to a solid color. If you want to change the color, you do have to remove this from the Switch because it uses the SR button. So if I hold down turbo and press SR, you can see I can just change whatever color I want. If I hold the turbo button and this plus button, then I can just turn the lights off altogether and that'll save battery life. And just hold it again to turn them back on. The last thing I'll show you is how to calibrate your joystick. So for example, if you're having an issue where your joystick is doing something weird, like it's stuck on up, you can fix that really easily on the controller itself. So to get in calibration mode on the right Joy-Con, you just have to hold R, X, and your home button. On the left one, just hold L and then up on the joystick and your capture button. Then you just rotate the joystick in a circular motion a few times and then lay it down flat. Laying it down flat will also calibrate the gyro. But you can see now that my joystick's working perfectly okay and I don't have any issues with the joystick being stuck on up. I hope you found this helpful. If you're looking for a futuristic looking and easy to use Joy-Con for your Nintendo Switch, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.